I've been in this business for over 22 years and I love it. And I'll tell you this, to do great work for high net worth families, you need a team. I mean, I just want clients out there to imagine the legal, the tax, the financial planning, the quarterback in a room with a whiteboard. And we're talking about your family's desires that you shared with us. And we're mapping out a plan to present back to you to say, hey, this is how we can execute all the things you asked. I think if someone's hearing this and they go, I love this, this is a YouTube channel of a couple guys I don't know. So I'm just going to go to my team and ask them to create this deferred sales trust for me. So why can't they just go figure this out on their own or grab their team and say, hey, I know this is legal, figure it out, find a way to do it and take care of it for me?
Yeah, great question. I think the key here is every tax deferral strategy works until you get audited. Mm-hmm. In fact, they work 100% of the time until you get audited. And then when you get audited, the question is, who's going to provide that audit defense and what's their track record on the audit defense? Now, I played basketball growing up, and Joe, you're right behind the Golden One Arena there. Yep. Now, for those former Sacramentians in Sacramento, we're huge Kings fans, Joe and I. Yep. And we remember the Arco Arena days, right? Well, I remember Chris Webber, he blew out his ACL, right? And that was big. It hurt all of us. Now, I actually blew my ACL out too, playing college basketball. And I went to a doctor here at UC Davis Medical Center, just a few blocks from where you're at. And I remember sitting down with him and asking him some questions like, hey, if I get this surgery, how do I know I'm in the right hands? How do I know, that, this is going to be a good outcome for me? Like, for example, how many of these have you done? And he goes, thousands. I go, wow. And I go, probably I think about 1,000 or so. And I go, great. Who else have you done it on? He goes, well, like Chris Webber and Ruthie Bolton. And I'm like, okay, got it. So you've done it with some of the best Hall of Fame, amazing athletes.
Yeah.
And it's been successful outcomes. Guess what? You can do surgery on my knee. And so I felt like I was in great hands. And so it's one thing to say, hey, go try something new, as if you walk into a surgeon and say, can you do an ACL surgery? And he's like, yeah, I've done some other surgeries that are similar to that. And right. I think I could put that thing together. And we would just say, you're risking, somebody to learn for the first time what has been proven for nearly 3 decades, right? And so you absolutely can try, but our question would just be, who's going to provide the lifetime audit defense? Who's going to pay for that audit defense? And are you willing to risk your 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 million, $1 billion exit on someone who doesn't have thousands and thousands of transactions under their belt, all of the no change IRS audits and the lifetime audit defense. And oh, by the way, we do a no cost, no obligation due diligence period where we actually bring in your trusted advisors. And if they sign the NDAs, we help them to get comfortable, because we're not asking you to just leave all of that behind. We actually want to bring them in. Sure. and they can be a guide to help ask great questions during the due diligence part of it. But the actual, let's say, surgery, the actual transaction is going to take professionals who have what I call the 10,000 hours working with the trust. Yep. Part of my role is the trustee. We can go on that a little bit later too, Joe.
I've been in this business for over 22 years and I love it. And I'll tell you this, to do great work for high net worth families, you need a team. I mean, I just want clients out there to imagine the legal, the tax, the financial planning, the quarterback in a room with a whiteboard. And we're talking about your family's desires that you shared with us. And we're mapping out a plan to present back to you to say, hey, this is how we can execute all the things you asked. And in fact, here's plan 1 and plan 2. What do you think about these different plans? And so I've made a point to find the best minds out there that can help my clients. And so finding Brett Swarts, finding capitalgainstaxsolutions, finding this legal team to create a strategic alliance, to sit in rooms and whiteboard family situations and really think about what the best plan is for the clients. It's absolutely a necessity. And so just to kind of button this up on estate planning, I would say when you just talked about the surgery analogy, which is excellent, even more than the first deferred sales trust, but the second one, an estate plan that goes wrong is a devastating mess that is left behind by a family. And I've been there to clean them up and to help clients through those. But there's an emotional component to that and a financial component. And so helping those, I mean, it creates wounds and nobody wants to leave that behind. It is literally your legacy that you leave behind. So I would totally agree with you that we want to make sure that whoever's assisting in this has experienced it over and over and over again, and even wrote the book on it.